Good day, folks. I was experimenting more with this because it looks very promising. And right here, the bias resistor in the oscillator, I was able to replace this with a PEG cell, which makes it very unique interactions. Now the PEG cell not only limits the bias current, but it contributes as well. So basically it brings the maximum current to the whatever potential the cell has, about 1.5 milliamps. So no more drive than 1.5 milliamps. And not only does it limit the potential, but it also contributes a big part of that. So basically the battery acts more. So I have it over here, the PEG cell in line, so no resistor is needed. And what it does, so when you put the battery on this system now, it uses very, very little input for the trigger. The battery becomes basically the device that maintains the electrostatic dipole in the PEG cell, and the transistor oscillates it. And because, you know, we're limiting it that way, at 1.5 milliamps or so to maintain the electrostatic dipole, you could just imagine how an oscillator configured like this will last a very, very long time if we're just using the battery as a trigger to maintain the electrostatic dipole, which uses a little bit of current, but not very much in relative to a normal circuit. So I'm just going to plug that in to show you what you get, considering basically zero current almost anyways. It's just hard to do this with one hand here. Once I get it, there we go. I got the battery connected now. So because I'm getting a lot of voltage, I brought the scale on the probe down to ×100. So now we're getting about 600 volts on the flyback side and 6.2 volts off of the reverse transformer side, which is a little bit less, but considering what we're using in current, this is nothing, and whatever is coming in is basically a bonus. Now what I notice is if you ground the center rod, I'm just going to simulate it with my hand here, this goes up a lot. So now we're at 12 volts at the reverse transformer side just by grounding or artificially grounding the PEG cells, which would be the anode side. Now I don't touch it no more. See the difference? But what I'm getting at, folks, is this is very efficient, and this will run a very, very long time when you're hard limiting it like that. And very efficient because instead of just acting like a resistor, losing in resistance and heat and everything, this not only limits the current but contributes in part to that total series 1.5 milliamps. So very good deal. Like I said, the battery is basically more or less more maintaining the electrostatic dipole. The transistor oscillates this, and we still have the same setup here with the core and the iron going all the true around and looping, and on the surface is still the iron core coiled all up. And of course on each side of the pipe here there's the aluminum foil, which is our capacitor connecting to our second channel here that we're observing. So like I said, this runs very, very, very cold. Takes about 1 to 1.5 milliamps of trigger for the battery, which is basically used to maintain the electrostatic dipole. So what I'm getting at, folks, is if I could collect anything more than 1.5 milliamps out of any of the the output sides, we're basically in business. And with the help of the PEG cell, it really, really enhances the system. So I was trying to figure out how I could incorporate the PEG cell in this somehow. And I think I have. And I just wanted to share that with you folks. Very, very efficient, you know. So we shall keep experimenting with this. All we need is pure potentials, right? Then we can charge capacitors with that and dump them and get current out of this. Considering this is about 1.5 milliamps, I think it's a good starting point. So we'll leave it at that, folks, and have yourselves all a great day. Looking forward to your comments and suggestions.